In the US, over 40% of adults are obese. That's almost half of the population. Do you know why? It's because of their disgusting habits and lifestyle, always eating ultra-processed food and junk and sugar. And the sad thing is that it's not even their faults. They've been tricked and scammed by the food industry, and now it's being shoved down their throats. And now they can't even quit their food addiction. And this problem isn't just in America. It's all over the world. Chances are you're experiencing the same thing. And I know what it's like. At first it's fun eating chocolate, ice cream, some chips. It tastes good, makes you feel good. But it goes wrong very quickly. You get addicted to them. And by the time you realize you're already overweight, you're unathletic, and you can barely touch your toes. And at this point, you've developed a sweet tooth. You can't seem to quit. You go a few days without eating that horrible food, but then you go right back to where you started. Believe me, I've been there, but I've been able to quit no sugar, no junk whatsoever for over 3 years now. And let me tell you, it is so easy, and you're just overcomplicating it. So I'm gonna reveal the secrets and the strategy that saved me and will finally end your addiction. And in fact, I'll give you a big bonus at the end to solidify your success. So what are habits in the first place, or how are they even formed? Well, habits are formed of a 4-step process. The cue, desire, response, and reward. And something you should know that if any of these are broken, or if any of these don't occur, then a habit won't form and it will be broken. So the first one, cue. Cue is basically the signal, the trigger that results in you doing the habit. So for example, you're sitting at home and you see a video of somebody playing a video game. So then you end up playing the video game. You know, just that idea of something that triggers you and makes you result in doing something. And then there's the desire. After the cue, you start getting a desire to actually do that thing, play that game, eat that food. And by the way, this cue and desire process is related to the dopamine video that I made before. So go check that out, it will help you a lot. So the desire is gonna give you that urge to actually want to do that habit. And the third thing, the response. This is whether you do it or not. If you do it, then a habit will form. If you don't, then nothing happens. So you saw the junk food and then you felt like eating it. And then you did eat it. Now the habit is basically formed. But let's say you got the thought of it and then you got the urge, but your response was that you didn't do it. Well, then a habit won't form at that point. And the last thing is the reward. So if this habit doesn't reward you in a way, then you wouldn't do it. I mean, think about it. Why would you do something that doesn't make you feel good or makes you feel pleasure? The whole point is to feel good or to make your life easier or better in the moment. So that's why the habit is formed. If it doesn't make you feel good at the end, then there wouldn't be a habit. So there is a reason why you're doing that habit. Again, the cue, desire, response, and reward. Now we want to break this process. And as we said before, if any of these are broken, then the habit won't form or it will break. So the way to break that habit, which you realize that it's the exact opposite of what it is. So the cue is when you got the trigger, you see it. So you don't want to see it, you hide it. Maybe, for example, if it's social media, you delete the app or hide it. Or for example, if it's video games, you put your console somewhere where you can't really see it. And that's for the trigger, the cue. For the desire, make it ugly, make it unattractive. List all the negatives of it. List all the downsides. Make it very clear to you how harmful it is, how annoying it is, how disgusting it is. And that will be a big help. And for the response, make it hard to do. Going back to the video game example, you can put it in your basement and lock the door, for example. And that's gonna take a lot of effort to actually go through that process. So it's gonna make it less likely for you to do it. You can unplug the cables, unplug your TV, turn off your phone. Whatever it is, just make it more difficult to do that habit or that addiction. And for the diet, you could hide the candy or not buy it in the first place, completely eliminate the trigger. Don't buy the candy. But let's say you buy the junk food and it's in your house now. Well, try to hide it so you don't see it. And if you end up getting the urge as well, because the urge doesn't just come from seeing the urge doesn't just come from seeing it, just thinking about it, or you saw it on your phone, or you heard somebody talking about your favorite dessert. That's gonna end up as a trigger. So let's say you got triggered, even though it's hidden. The next step is to make it hard to eat it. Maybe tell yourself that if I'm gonna eat this piece of food, if I'm gonna eat it, then I have to run a kilometer. For example, whatever it is, just make it hard to do. And the last thing for the reward, to completely delete your habits. Make it painful, make it annoying. Don't make it enjoyable. And there's a lot of ways you could do this. You could physically harm yourself, get your friend to hit you, or you could torture yourself mentally or physically. Like for example, if I do X, if I do this addiction, then I'm gonna study for 2 hours straight. Or if I do this, I'll go work out for the gym and I'll do extra cardio, for example. But make it result in something that you don't like, in something that you don't want. And that will make it a lot harder to do. And if you implement these 4 steps, making it hidden, ugly, hard to do, and painful, well, there's no reason you wouldn't quit, because at that point it doesn't even feel good. It takes a lot of effort to do. It's hard to actually even think of doing it. And the urge is weak, and the reward isn't even worth it at that point. So if you implement all of these, it will be pretty easy to quit. And as for the bonus I promised you, it's worth it. It's the first link in the description. It's a Google document where I'll be sharing even more information to help solidify your success in actually quitting the habit. And I'm excited to tell you that I'm actually working on a lot of things to completely break your addictions and break free. So be on the lookout. And if you've made it this far, I'm proud of you. Good luck, soldier. And as always, you're the only person that can make yourself reach success. And you're the only person that can ruin it.